Oh, my queue popped. So here we go, and I'm gonna commentate. While I do this, it's gonna be Archimond and LFR, and I'm gonna try and commentate over my choices I do during the fight. Why I do what I do. What I do and why I do it. And this is gonna be really awkward if it doesn't pop right now, because then I'm gonna have to do a cut again if somebody fails the queue, but I should get in. Yes, indeed we do. And we're in. And I hope they cleared the trash. They did not. They have not cleared the trash. It's a new group. God damn it. I'm just going to wait around and wait pull. Usually you see these and ring of this, just not to get it over with quickly, because this trash is very difficult for most people, and it can quickly overwhelm you because it spawns a lot of extra mobs, and mechanics actually one-shot you. So it's actually harder than the boss on LFR actually. No, that was a joke. Actually, it needs 5th as a boomkin, and I honestly forgot about it. Is that the Star Search proc, your shooting stars proc that gives you charges, actually only procs of your most recent dot application. And I honestly didn't know this until recently. So let's say I dot up this Doom Guard over here, the one I have the target on right now, not the fucker that's attacking me. Go away. The one I'm attacking. That's my most recent dot. And when it dies, I should not get any procs until I redot something else, which I just did. Which is kind of a weird system, and it's annoying. So you could in theory, you could go around for a very long time because you haven't reapplied dots to the boss when you've been swapping around ads, and not get any procs because your recent target has already died. And it appears like we're already getting in there. Which I don't mind much. So this is probably going to be the worst pull in history, which kind of ruins my footage, but it should be fine anyway. What you didn't want to do as Boomkin is you want to keep dots on everything possible, and just you want to prioritize using your empowerment, your Star Search, while in doing an Eclipse. Because 2 empowered Starfires is going to do more damage than 2 empowered Wraths any day of the week. And we'll spread out this because we don't want to die. And we should probably have helped catch the other guy. Well, I saw he was fine, so I didn't do it. Generally, rule of thumb: if you're searching on your abilities to play the fight, you should not move unless you have to. Like if you could judge that by yourself, because moving with no reason to do it lowers your DPS by quite a margin. And there the alert went off. We want to roar for the group because so they can get in position faster and do more DPS. It's very stampeding roar is actually very valuable for situations like this where you have to reposition the group. And I can see that he's fine again, so I'm not gonna bother. I just focus on doing damage on priority targets. Deathcaller managed to spawn, which is doesn't matter at this point. But generally you don't want to have Deathcallers up during a transition on this fight. Since this is the second phase, there's no reason to not be stacked up, but people are not doing it unfortunately. You stacked up eases the healing by a lot. This is actually a pretty good time to use the legendary ring with the DPS, because it's gonna fit that when the next Deathcaller spawns, the ring explosion is gonna go off on it, hopefully, and just gonna instantly kill it, so we don't have to deal with it. Oh, I completely misjudged that. It didn't do that, but it's fine because it did all the damage to the boss instead. At this point, we just dot up everything in order to make sure it dies in due time. In the case of Archimont, you always want to keep up on the ads. Never want to get overwhelmed. Because if you get too many, even with the Dreadstars, even though they seem like they don't do a lot, they can actually, if they manage to get if your healers have to move for it, they can actually put unnecessary stress on the healers, and you might actually wipe through that because the healer got locked out and couldn't cast spells. Priority is always going to be the Overfiend first, because if it manages to get a cast off, that can very easily wipe you on a higher difficulty, like probably Heroic. It's not going to happen a lot far. But on Heroic and higher, it's definitely gonna wipe you if it goes off. Most of the time. Unless you're like very highly geared. And the first bench is gonna go off. And I did not get set in. Which I don't mind. What you want to do is spread out now, because possibilities are coming in, and the nether group should hopefully be back before the first reign of chaos. You want to have the whole group in for that, because the infernals are very difficult to deal with in most cases, and you want to have like as much DPS on it as humanly possible. I managed to get the chains. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run out of the max range and then just break it quickly before the things go off. Use it defensive because it does a lot of raid damage. In this case, Barkskin. And just focus on killing the infernals. And now I'm actually taking all three infernals, which is very unfortunate. And this doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. And it looks like we're gonna wipe right now, maybe, because we have no tanks. Which is unfortunate. That's a wipe. There's nothing we can do about that. I think this should, yeah, it can definitely still be used.